Okay. Best loved distillery, but why? Why? I mean, we're Scotland's most visited distillery, with over 100,000 visitors still. What sets us apart is our products. We have fantastic brands. We have fantastic products. I'll be the first to say that. We're very lucky. Our brand, icon of Scotland, Scotland's favourite dram, has been for over 27 years. We've got Scotland's oldest distillery. How fantastic, 1775. We are so lucky to have these at our fingertips. And location, well, fantastic. I thought I worked in a great place when I worked in Perth, and then I moved across to Crieff. It is just stunning there. However, I would argue that no, they're not. None of these, to be honest. The products, they're forever changing. Our brand, it changes. It changes more often than I change my underwear, unfortunately, but it's very, very hard to keep up with the brand, and it has to change. It has to evolve. It's different markets, global brand, etc. Our distillery is 1775, as I said, but there's 60 other distilleries making whiskey, doing the same whiskey's whiskey. It's like making beer. There's very little difference. And location, well, Scotland as a whole is fantastic, and you better than most know how fantastic it is. So none of these, I would say, set us apart. It's all nice things to have. But what sets me apart, and I truly, truly believe this, is my people, and it's their passion. It's their passion for what they do. And it's them delivering an exceptional customer experience that sets me apart as a venue. And I know it sounds really sort of quite simple and obvious, but it is so true. We obviously measure feedback, and I saw feedback up on the rest. We measure feedback like anyone else does. And time again, it's people who are named, and they said, you know what, Pat gave me just such a fantastic tour today. I'll remember that forever. Or I've been around 20 other distilleries, this stands out as the best because of X, Y, or Z. Or because the staff really looked after me. Of course, I'm interested in whether they think the facilities are good, whether the shop's good and all that kind of thing, but actually I'm more interested in whether staff are named, and they are regularly named. We don't always get it right. I'll be the first to say that, okay? And please, I will invite you to come up, and you know what? I've got every confidence that it'll have a fantastic time. But we do get it wrong. Everyone gets it wrong, and it's okay to get it wrong, as long as you only do it once. And you learn from that. And what I would say is when we get it right, I'm so proud of the product we have, and it really does work. It really does work well. Okay. Our people. The centre of everything. This is a bit dull, isn't it, this? There's a different colour on screen, it's blue. Okay, people, our biggest point of difference, without a doubt, they're at the centre of everything that I do at the site. And if nothing else, 2-3 years ago when we looked back at ourselves, and even when we looked at ourselves again at the start of the year when we launched our new sort of exceptional service philosophy, it's all about the people. It's all about how we train the people. It's all about how we look after them. Starts at the top, if you like, recruitment. We only get the best people in. So coming back to your question at the start, yes, I inherited a few people that I wouldn't probably have chosen to recruit myself. But having said that, I now have the team around me that I'm delighted with, and they are delivering day in, day out. The reason we're that, because we actually look after our people. We develop them day in, day out. We look to try and see where they can go. We recruit them because we think they might be able to progress somewhere else. So new people that are coming into the business now, I'm looking and thinking, well, it's not just that role I'm recruiting them for, it's where they could be in a year or 2 years' time. And it's not just in my business. They might go across to Perth and work for the brand. They might go to Stirling and work for our distributor, who's Maxium, who distribute our products around the country. It's not just in tourism. I do look beyond that. The training, we spend a lot. We spend about 20% of our annual profit on training. It's a huge investment, and I just truly believe in it. I'd rather invest it back into people than anything else. River crossing, I talked about that.
So the visitor attraction itself makes a profit.
It does. It does. We are, that's a good question again, gosh, good question. We are a standalone entity, and it's very, very important that we stand alone. It'd be very easy for us to get sucked into the Edgington Group and you know what, them say, oh, well, they're delivering great brand equity. It doesn't matter if it loses £100,000 a year because it's all about the customer experience. Very, very easy to do, and I'm sure there's other distilleries and other visitor attractions within that, fall into that trap. We stand alone. As a standalone entity, it could be sold tomorrow as a going concern. I did put a suggestion together when I joined the company that I would like to see all of the profits reinvested in the site, however that may be. They didn't quite buy into that, but it's good that we invest. They do allow it. They give me carte blanche to actually do. I have a plan. I have to deliver against that. What I do within that is up to me, and as long as I deliver, top and bottom line, they're happy. River crossing, I think it's something that's so important for every business. It's very easy to say, let's go to that customer care conference, let's go and have a look at that hotel, let's go and look at that visitor attraction, let's go and see how other people are doing it in Scotland. To hell with all that, let's do that, but let's go and look at something totally different. There was a great example someone once gave, I forget it, another one of these things. They went to McLaren garages, F1, and they couldn't believe how in the office there wasn't, every single desk was just totally clean and tidy, because that is how they expect them to address their car, and everything is just so. And it cannot be someone has an untidy desk, because untidy desk suggests someone's not organised. Someone's not organised means that they're going to miss something and the car will break down. So nice little sort of example there. The staff are motivated. They must be motivated. If they're not motivated, they'll switch off and they'll just come to work and they won't want to be there. And the customer will pick up on that. They'll pick up on it straight away within 10 seconds. And that will ruin their experience. External benchmarking, obviously got to look and see what other people are doing as well. And some of the best ideas come from the competition. Don't be afraid to nick them. But put your own stamp on them. Put your own stamp on them is what I'd say.
And when you say competition, you're presumably not just meaning other distilleries?
No, I got a great idea the other day, and I'll speak about it now quite happily. I was, actually it was on holiday, I was down in the Lake District, and it was the wettest week. It was when all the flooding was in the Lake District. It was fantastic. I was on a busman's holiday. I did tourist attractions all week with my kids and all the rest of it. And great idea. So I was in all the leaflet things, which I never really do that much, but I was in all these sort of EAE type leaflet things, and I was pulling them out, and someone had put a postcode on the back of it, so obvious, for sat-nav. So forget about your address, forget about phone number, they just want the they want that, but they want the sat-nav so they can bing it in and then go straight to your visitor attraction. Great idea. So it's going on my leaflet as of January. So very, very obvious, but I never thought about that before. So yeah. Does that answer your questions? I'll be honest. Yeah. Continually reviewing, always look at what you're doing. Look at how we're addressing our visitor experience, but ask the visitor as well. So ask them. We go out and talk to about 600, 700 visitors a year, and just ask them, give them a miniature, and just sort of say to them, what do you think? Can you give us 5 minutes of your time and tell us what you think of you? Because actually it's very easy to fill in a form when you're fed up with something, or if you've got time in your hands, you have a coffee, and you answer the questions they ask, as opposed to you have a dialogue and people say to you what they really think. And they're having a miniature, so they feel that actually they've got to give you a bit more. And it's those kind of nuggets which are really ideal. Always looking to try and promote our people, so give them opportunity. I can't always do it, I'll be honest. Some people, they're bigger than the job and they may move on, and that's a shame. But I'm not going to hold someone back if I can't give them the role they want. But succession planning is an important part of what we do. Working together, working collectively. I know you've been talking about it today. It is so important. Small site, 20-odd people, small team, people move around, multi-skilling. It's so important that people have the ability to support each other. So it's no good someone saying, I work in the shop, I'm happy, there's no one in my shop, and I've got everything covered, and I'm just cleaning the floor, or I'm just putting the shelves, stock on the shelves, while the restaurant's having an absolute nightmare upstairs because they're short-staffed. You get upstairs and you help them. It's all about that team effort.
You were saying about working with other people, etc. Do you work alongside other attractions in the area?
Yes, we do. I'll come on to partnering. I've got that. I'm conscious I'm probably overrunning. Is this okay? Sorry.
No.
Okay. I will come on to partnering because it's such an important part. Absolutely. No one's opened it yet. Okay. I'm going to run through this fairly quickly because this is fairly obvious. But what sets both our people and our business apart? A focus-driven team. People know what they're supposed to be doing. Okay. It's so important. Again, it hit me quite early on that they did have objectives, but they hadn't been updated, and people didn't really know what their role was. And interesting enough, because they were doing so much trying to help each other, they were actually being detrimental because they were running around trying to help each other, but not doing what was in their own objectives. So actually the basics weren't getting done, and therefore they thought they were helping, but they were actually being detrimental. Always communicating. That's good and bad times. So we get good feedback, of course we all want to share it. You get bad feedback, well, just... my staff know when something goes wrong. They actually know before I get the complaint, because they know fine well when something's not gone well. And I will generally get a phone call. The good thing is I'll get a phone call now to tell me to expect a complaint, which actually is a good thing because it means they recognise, they know that on a Monday morning I'm going to have a letter or something. I used to know it doesn't happen very often, but they know there's going to be a problem. If something's not gone well, generally the wheels come off altogether, and you know the complaint's coming because, whatever reason. And they'll tell me now, so I'll come in Monday morning kind of prep for that, and I've kind of psyched myself up for it. I know what to expect, but more importantly, the staff are ready to talk about it, and they're already analysing it and telling me in their own ways what's gone wrong.